Christmas is just around the corner, but if you're feeling a little bit disorganized right now, just as I am, and you're not sure what to have on Christmas Day for dessert, well, maybe this 15-minute tiramisu might do the trick for you. You can make it all in advance the day before and just serve it up on Christmas Day, and it couldn't be easier. So I'll show you how it's done. So in case you're wondering what tiramisu actually is, it's an Italian dessert that has layers of cream, sponge and very strong coffee. Now, first of all, I'd just like to point out to you that you would generally use a packet of ladyfinger biscuits in this recipe, which is sort of like a sponge biscuit that's been dried out, so it's a little bit firmer than a sponge. But unfortunately, when I went to the supermarket, they didn't have any. So what I did was I went to the supermarket and I bought a trifle sponge, and I cut the sponge into finger-sized pieces like this, and then I popped them on this oven tray and I put them in the oven on a very low heat for about 30 minutes. And what happened was the sponge dried slightly. So this is a really good substitute if you don't have the ladyfinger biscuits. Okay? Right, so first of all, what we need to do is I've got 2 cups of cream here, and I'm just going to add 1/4 cup of sugar. So there's not loads of sugar in this recipe, which is good, and a teaspoon of vanilla extract, and I'm just going to beat this until soft peaks form. Okay, so now that we've got the cream to the soft peak stage, I'm going to add 350 grams of mascarpone cream. This is an Italian cream, which is very thick. It's almost like clotted cream. Okay, and we're just going to slowly beat that in until it's just combined. And I think I'll finish it off with the spatula. So in this bowl here, I have 1.5 cups of very strong coffee, and I just use instant coffee, and I've let it cool down to room temperature. Okay, so to that, and this is an absolute optional ingredient, is to add 2 tablespoons of rum or brandy, and I'm just going to use this beautiful rum here. It's from Rum Runners, and it's actually infused with vanilla. It's absolutely delicious. So I'll just pop a couple of tablespoons of that in there. But as I say, it's not essential that you use this. I'll just give that a bit of a stir. And then all I'm going to do is I'm going to take one of these sponge fingers and just quickly dip them in the coffee, and then into this container here. So you want to do it quite quickly, and we just want a whole layer of the sponge. Traditional tiramisus are a lot more complicated than this recipe, so this may not necessarily be a traditional way of making it, but I think it's still just as yummy. And when you're only having to spend 15 minutes making it, I think it's a bit of a win-win. Okay, so that's our first layer. So what we're going to do now is spoon half this mixture onto the first layer of sponge. And now we're just going to repeat the process with another layer. So I ended up having to make a little bit more coffee because I ran out. You mind? So now what I'm doing is I'm just covering it, and I'm going to put it in the fridge for at least 3 hours, or preferably overnight. So I've just taken this out of the fridge. I put it in overnight, and now I'm just going to take the wrapping off. It's firmed up beautifully, and now I'm just going to do a light dusting of